Hello, and thank you again for visiting Black Hair and Nail Academy. What I am going to be going through is the scientific concepts of infection control. With the New Jersey State Board Cosmetology exam, there are domains that you need to cover. And in domain one, the topics are infection control, safety and practices, identify how disease and infections are caused and transmitted, recognize the purpose and the effects of infection control principles, a level of infection control, which would be sanitation, cleaning, disinfection, sterilization, process of infection controls. You also need to recognize when cross-contamination occurs, prevention of cross-contamination, differentiate between the purpose of single and multi-use tools, and also apply blood contact procedures when dealing with blood. Identify the requirements of the government agencies like OSHA, standards, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Also, you have to know about the EPA, the human anatomy and physiology of the body, identify the functions and the structure of the hair, scalp, skin, nails, identify the signs and symptoms and conditions, disorders, and diseases related to the hair, scalp, skin, and nails, identify muscles and joints and their functions related to the head, the face, the arms, hands, legs, and feet, identify the function of the nervous system, circulatory system, the basic chemistry of products used in cosmetology, recognize the purpose and effects of products and ingredients, recognize interactions between chemicals, recognize physical interactions with chemicals, recognize overexposure of chemicals, dealing with chemical burns, and also recognizing the chemicals and how they are related to the pH scale. So, in domain one is all of these topics that you need to know roughly a nice amount, not too much, about 30 questions. But the 30 questions will come from that whole area that I just spoke about. So I look forward in going through a series of slides and discussing infection control. And some of these questions you may get on your test, some you may not. But this is not just about taking your written, it's about you protecting your customers and yourself from the customers if they have any infectious diseases or disorders. And it's about precaution. So I look forward. I love this chapter. It's something that you'll keep in your career forever. And thank you again. And let's get started. Chapter 5, Infection Control Principles and Practices. The objective for this chapter is to understand the state laws and rules and the differences between them, list the types and classification of bacteria, define hepatitis and HIV, and explain how they are transmitted. Explain the differences between cleaning, disinfecting, and sterilization, and sterilizing your tools. Objective continued. We also are going to list types of disinfectants and how they are used. We're going to discuss universal precaution, list the responsibilities of the salon professional in the salon. Also describe how to safely clean and disinfect your tools and equipment. And also your station, your mirror, the chair, the floor, the bathroom. All of this is everybody's responsibility in the salon. So let's talk about a federal agency that you most likely will get a question like this. So, what is OSHA? OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They regulate the material safety data sheet, which is now called the safety data sheet. They took the material off. It's called safety data sheet. What's listed on the material safety data sheet is product content, associated hazards, combustion levels, storage requirements, and about 16 other categories, like where if you have an exposure incident and some product getting your eyes, you will always refer back to your safety data sheet. If this happens to you or a client, your safety data sheet needs to be available in a binder. You should have a hard copy and digital copy so that you could get to it very quickly. Okay. Um, Environmental Protection Agency. This is a government agency. It is they register disinfectants with an EP registered number. We have hospital grade disinfectants that will fall under terms like tuberculosidal disinfectants. And then there are certain disinfectant myths that we will go over. Let's talk about state regulatory agencies. State regulatory agencies protect the consumers' health, safety, and welfare. We have things like the State Board and the Health Department, the Better Business Bureau. These places are our local state agencies that we deal with. So we have something like two things we need to be concerned with, and that's laws, which are statutes, and rules, which are regulations. The state board will definitely enforce the rules and regulations. Principles of infection. Careless actions can cause injury or invasion of the body tissue by disease causing pathogens. So we need to be able to prevent these things from happening. So prevention is key and it begins with you. Don't worry about what others are not doing in the salon. Worry about what you need to do to protect you and your client. Potential infectious organisms. We're going to talk about bacteria, fungi, viruses, and parasites. So these are potentially infectious organisms that we cannot see, and we need to assume that they are active at all times. Salon disinfectants. We have bactericidal, which destroys bacteria. We have fungicidal, which destroys fungi, and virucidal, which destroy viruses. A bacteria is a minute one-celled microorganism, prominent in dust, dirt, and refuse, and diseased tissue. Can exist almost anywhere. 1,500 bacteria can fit on a tip of a pin. They are rod-shaped bacteria, and there's an image to show you on a microscope what they look like to your left of the screen. Microbacterium fortunatum is a non-tuberculocidal microbacterium, or NTM, that is found in many different environments around the world and is even found in most tap waters, believe it or not. Although it is harmless to most healthy people, exposure does pose a threat of bacteria infection in immune compromised individuals, or when the bacterium is found in abundance. So if we have too much of this, it can be harmful to us. And if people have low immune system. Pathogenic bacteria. We have cocci, which are round shaped, staphylococci, which grow in clusters, streptococci, they grow in curved lines, diplococci grow in pair, and bacilli are rod-shaped bacteria. Here are examples of images of these type of bacteria. You see diplo means pair. So you see two, cocci meaning round shaped bacteria, and diplococci can cause pneumonia. We have streptococci, can cause strep throat. It grows in curves. Then we have staphylococci, when you get like a staph infection, grows in bunches. You see them all grouped together. Bacilli is a chain of rod-shaped bacteria. And we have other spirilla bacteria. What you see is uh, the tail on the spirilla that allows it to move, fragilia, which allows the bacteria to move through your cells, through the fluid. And they can be spore formers, all right? So they can produce and multiply very quickly in dirty, damp, dark places. And bacteria can be dormant or active. So we should be cleaning, I say, between every 45 to 60 minutes. So if you're with a client, this is why it's important to clean before and after, because you don't know when the bacteria can be active again after you've cleaned. We have types of bacteria, like we spoke about a few minutes ago. So they are classified as non-pathogenic, meaning that they are helpful or harmless to you, the human, or pathogenic, meaning it is harmful and disease-causing to us. Causes of disease. So we have the heart in the middle, and what can cause disease is a lot of internal and external factors. We have aging. As we get older, our cardiovascular system and different things starts to change. Genetics play a part. Your lifestyle, how you live in, your gender. Are you smoking? Eating an unhealthy diet full of fast food and not eating off the 5 plate on a dietary menu, and also having degenerative diseases like, diabetes, high blood pressure. All of these things can cause diseases and weaken your immunity. and your system. Movement of bacteria. Cocci rarely shows motility. Motility meaning self-movement. They rarely move on their own. Bacilli and spirilla, they use a slender hair-like extension called fragilia or cilia for locomotion to move. And the picture you see in the background is like their hair-like extensions, how it moves through the cells. Growth and reproduction. We have active phase of a bacteria, which mean they can grow, and that could take anywhere between 20 to 60 minutes to reach their full growth potential. And then they will divide into two cells called a binary fusion. And then we'll deal with when it's inactive or spore forming, meaning that that cell is, or that bacteria is resistant to adverse conditions. So it'll have a coating over it, protecting it until it becomes dormant. I mean, active. It'll be dormant with the covering over it. And then once the places or the condition is conducive to the bacteria growing, like damp, dirty, dark, unclean surfaces, that can happen anywhere between 20 and 60 minutes. MRSA, I'll put that up there because that is a really serious infection that we need to be concerned about. And bacteria infection, this will fall under Staphylococcus. It could be food poisoning, toxic shock syndrome, MRSA, local infections, systemic infection or disease, contagious or communicable diseases can fall under the staph infection. And a lot of these infections require antibiotics or some type of natural remedy, but you have to be very careful and make sure you get it treated so that it does not become systemic through your whole system. Viruses. We all know about a virus. So we have viruses live by penetrating your cells. This is why they're so deadly and dangerous. They can be resistant to antibiotics, and this, is prevented by vaccinations or the human papilloma virus, HPV, is viruses that a lot of people um, get vaccinated for, like COVID, flu, and different things like that. It's airborne and it's easy to transmit from one person to another, even with universal precaution or your PPE, personal equipment, personal protective equipment. You still have to wash your hands and take precaution with your environment because we deal with the public and our clients and ourselves. Bloodborne pathogen. So we have hepatitis. Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. We have hepatitis A, hepatitis B, which is HBV, hepatitis C, HCV. So hepatitis is an inflammation of your liver, and you need to be very cautious and sanitary with these conditions. Bloodborne pathogen. So we have hepatitis. Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. We have hepatitis A, hepatitis B, which is HBV, hepatitis C, HCV. So hepatitis is an inflammation of your liver, and you need to be very cautious and sanitary with these conditions. Bloodborne pathogen. So we have hepatitis, hepatitis, HIV and AIDS. This is passed through blood and bodily fluid, unprotected sex, sharing of an IV needle by accidents, with needles, cuts and sores, opens wounds. The method that do not transmit the disease is holding someone's hand, kissing, hugging, sharing food and household items. Does not transmit HIV or AIDS. Okay, can be affected for many years without symptoms. So someone can be affected with HIV and AIDS and not even know it, especially a person who does not visit the doctor on a regular. Fungi, microscopic plant parasite that include mold, mildew, and yeast, can spread by contaminated implements or by not preparing your nail plate before applying nail enhancements. A lot of people tell you that, oh, your nail your tip lifted and the acrylic, the water got underneath the nail. Yes, we can worry about mildew or certain things like that. But when you get fungus or fungi, most likely it's dirty implements that has not been cleaned, disinfected, or sterilized properly. So this is something to be concerned about. That's why we are the professionals and we need to follow the state rules and regulations. Fungi, continue, is a microscopic plant parasite that includes mold, mildew, and yeast. It can spread by contaminated implements or by not preparing your nail plate before applying enhancements like dehydrating the nail, um, removing all the moisture out of the nails. More common on your feet and hands. Fungi, continued. Tinea barber, barber itch, or barber itch. Tinea capitis is a fungal infection of the scalp. Tinea pedis, ringworm fungus of the foot. Okay, so pedis is feet, capitis is head, barber is like a barber itch or the beard or the back of the neck or some place like that dealing with men. So this also comes from unclean unclean tools in an unclean environment. In this picture to your left top is a ringworm, and that is very contagious. Parasites, they grow, feed, and shelter on or in other living organisms. A parasite must have a host to survive. It's also found in food, plant, trees, water. Pediculosis capitis is head lice. Scabies is caused by itch mite. which burrows under the skin. Interesting. How pathogens enter the body through a break in the skin, through your mouth, nose, ears, your eyes, and definitely unprotected sex. So, unbroken skin is the body's first line of defense. Also, we gotta be concerned with our nail biters. Biting your nails is unbroken skin, and which can cause microorganisms and pathogens to invade your body. So keep your hands out your mouth. Talking to myself. How body fights infection through unbroken skin, body secretions, white blood cells, and antitoxins. This is how we fight. And education. Immunity, natural immunity. We are born with natural immunity. That's your inborn ability. Acquired immunity. It's developed after you've caught a virus or caught some type of disease or something. Your body develops an immunity. And also disease or through inoculation, like vaccinations. So this is how you get an immunity against certain things like COVID and things like that. Either your body builds up an immunity from it or you get inoculation, which is a vaccination. Principles of prevention. All right, so we talked a lot about what causes all of this and, what we need to be concerned about. So now we're going to go into the principles of prevention and everyday procedures that you need to be performing in the salon, school, barbershop, nail salon, estheticians, makeup artists, anybody that's servicing people, dentists, doctors, everybody, you know. So let's go over some terms like contamination. Contamination is the presence of potentially infectious material. A contaminant makes impure by contact. Contaminate is substance that cause contamination. Principles of prevention continued. Decontamination, cleaning. That's how you decontaminate. By simply sweeping the floor, wiping the table, dusting. That's cleaning. Washing dishes, warm soapy water, cleaning. Using an ultrasonic unit. That's a form of disinfection. Using that solvent to disinfect or high temperature sterilizations. Method 1, cleaning and then disinfecting with a EPA registered disinfectant, and then we have sterilization. In the salon, we are mostly concerned with method 1. But when we're dealing with nails and things like that, you need to incorporate sterilization and using like an ultrasonic unit. Then decontamination method 1, 2 steps. Step 1 is cleaning. That's washing with soapy water, scrubbing it with a brush, using the ultrasonic unit, cleaning with a solvent solution. Step 2, disinfecting, can be a solvent or a solution in an EPA registered disinfectant. So that would be step 2. After you clean, dry, then you place your tools or implements into a solution to disinfect them. Decontamination method number 2. You'll do step 1, cleaning. Step 2, sterilizing with high pressure steam autoclave. Steam penetrates the spore coats of the spore forming bacteria. So the steam, the high temperature, will break that coat on the bacteria that when they become dormant, the only thing that's going to kill that is high temperature steam in a dry heat. Okay, so a dry heat is less effective and requires more time. So we prefer a high temperature steam. A dry heat is not as effective as a high temperature sterilization system. Choosing a disinfectant, highly productive. You need the correct efficacy. Efficacy is the effectiveness against bacteria. We have hospital level disinfectants and pseudomonacidal, bactericidal, and fungicidal. Also, virucidal disinfectants, and they are highly effective when used according to the manufacturer's instruction. The benefits of sterilizing, most reliable mean of infection control, and it's increase your client's confidence. The lady in the picture has a high temperature steam autoclave machine there. And when the clients see you use something like that, they feel more comfortable and safe in your environment. Nowadays, people are very concerned about that. Choosing a disinfectant. You have the correct efficacy, meaning if it's virucidal, pseudomonacidal, fungicidal, meaning that it's effective to kill what is listed on the container or the jar. This is your ideal disinfectant, and it's the qualities of that disinfectant. Bioburden effectiveness, longer renewal time, it's low cost, non-toxic and non-irritating, effectiveness, right? You want it to be very effective. Okay. Choosing a disinfectant, continue. When we talk about hospital level disinfectant, um, is approved by the EPA, environmental friendly, odorless, and non-corrosive. Proper use of disinfectants. Use on pre-cleaned, non-porous surfaces. Dilute according to the directions. Contact time per directions. Spray on contact time directions. Spray can't be used if immersion is required. Like your combs and tools and certain things need to be totally immersed in a solution. Use only as directed. Use only EPA registered disinfectant in your petty spas. Use the best quality you can find. Types of disinfectants. We have quats, which are non-toxic, odorless, fast-acting. We have phenolics, which are powerful tuberculocidal disinfectants. They have a high pH and can cause damage to the skin, eyes, and plastic. Those are not used as much as quats. Types of disinfectant continues. Accelerated hydrogen peroxide, APH, which is long lasting. We have bleach, 5.25% sodium hypochlorite, which is H2O2, which is H2O2, which is water. Well, H2O and H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. Fumigants, formalin tablets, paraformaldehyde, glutaraldehyde is used to sterilize surgical instruments in hospitals, not safe in salon use. So fumigants we do not use in the salons no longer. Disinfectant safety. Keep material safety data sheet or SDS sheet on hand. Wear gloves and safety glasses. Avoid skin and eye contact. Add disinfectant to the water, not the water to the disinfectant, because that'll cause bubbling. Use a tongue, gloves, or draining basket to remove. And keep yourself safe at all times. Disinfectant safety continued. Carefully measure your products. Measure and use per instructions. Follow replacement instructions. Never allow disinfectant to come in contact with your skin, and never place in unmarked containers. Everything should be labeled according to the mixture. All of that should be on the bottle. If you use an unlabeled bottle, you need to write out what it is and how you mixed it. Disinfect or dispose. So you need to know when something can be disinfected and when it needs to be discarded. Multi-use, meaning reusable, and it can be cleaned. And it's non-porous. We got single use, disposable items used only once. Porous, constructed of absorbent material. And then you need a log book to record when you are disinfecting certain equipment. Disinfectant procedures. So our towels and linen need to be laundered and stored, and bleach is the disinfectant that goes in the towels. Electrical tools and equipment need to be wiped down when it's not plugged in. Your workstation need to be cleaned and disinfected, wiped down after every client, before and after every client. That includes the chair, your station, and all your tools and supplies. Disinfection procedures continue. Single-use supplies, examples would be a wooden stick, cotton and gauzes, wipes, porous files, paper towels. Proper hand washing is important. You need to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds before and after every client, or use a waterless hand sanitizer. Antibacterial soaps are good for washing the hands, and then you need to follow up with some type of lotion at the end of the day, because it's hard to do that constantly when you're busy in a salon. Universal precautions. Guidelines published by OSHA. Assumptions that all human blood and bodily fluids are infectious. Asymptomatic. No symptoms or signs of infection. We are assuming that all blood is contaminated. Exposure incident disinfection. Whenever you have an exposure incident and blood is seen, you stop the service, put on gloves. Then stop the bleeding, clean the area, apply a septic and or liquid, spray styptic liquid or spray, a bandage for the cut, clean and then disinfect your workstation. Discard contaminated objects. Disinfect all tools in an EPA registered disinfectant. Remove the gloves and wash your hands. You can double bag anything that has blood on it and discard of any sharp instruments in a Sharpie container for blades or anything like that. A blood container. Professional salon image. If you see in the picture over there, that's what we want to see, a clean, professional environment. Keep your floors clean, control dust, hair, and debris. Keep trash contained. Clean fans, ventilation systems, and humidifiers weekly. Keep all work area well lit. Clean and disinfect your restrooms on a regular in all surfaces. Professional salon image continued. No cooking or sleeping. Store food separate from your products. Prohibit eating and drinking and smoking in the salon. Empty the waste receptacles. Mark containers and label all containers. Place tools properly. Professional salon image continued. Disinfect your tools. Properly store your tools. Don't touch your face or mouth. Clean and then disinfect your work surfaces after each client. Use clean disposable paper towels. Wash hands before and after each client and use clean linen. Professional responsibilities. Follow state, federal laws. Keep your license current. Monitor state rules changes. Disinfectant procedures. Disinfect non-electrical tools and implements. Disinfection of whirlpool foot spas and air jet basins. Pipeless foot spas. Non-whirlpool foot basins or tubs. And also proper hand washing continued. Congratulations, you have completed one unit of study towards passing and studying for your cosmetology, barbering, esthetician, manicurist examination. Keep studying, write notes, use Quizlet for reviews, and just be confident. Take your test, pass your test, and I wish you a beautiful and successful career like I have had. Thank you again for patronizing Black Hair and Nail Academy. God bless you.